Well, guys, thank you so much for having me. It's good to be back in Munich, and I'm actually not going to waste a lot of time talking about the companies that we will have on stage here. So I'm actually going to introduce all the people who will be joining us. We have a great combination of homegrown players, but also some international experts with us today. First of all, I'd like to introduce Lauren Perkins from FlyFit. She's a co-founder there. Benjamin Roth, who's the founder of Urban Sports Club. Simon Grünenwald, the MD at Gymondo, and also Kai Rathschlag, who's a co-founder of Antelope. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Okay, well, gentlemen, and obviously also the lady, we're actually going to start with a very, very light question. So my first question would actually be, what does the topic of freedom and flexibility actually mean for your business concepts, for the consumers, for the way we work out, we address the topic of health in the future? And maybe we can start with you, Benjamin, as you're sitting right next to me.
Well, it's an essential topic for us. We consider the freedom of sports as kind of a USP of our product because well, what we do is we aggregate the sports venues of a city and allow you to go there with a single membership, meaning that you can choose where you want to go every day as a new journey, so to say. So whether you want to do yoga or climbing, whether the weather is good and you want to go to an outdoor pool, or the weather is not so good and you prefer to have a massage. So you have the whole flexibility. Not only in terms of venues where you can go in types of sports, but also in terms of 1 month contract and the possibility to pause whenever you want. So freedom of sports and really providing the flexibility we believe people are asking for is really a key asset of our product.
Cool. Simon, obviously you're taking the whole stuff of flexibility to the next level, let's put it that way. You're stepping away from brick and mortar structures, and what's the approach at Gymondo?
Yeah, Gymondo is basically an online fitness platform, and our USP is that you can train anytime and anywhere. So for an example, I bring my kids to bed at 9 in the evening, they usually sleep, and then I want to do a workout. I cannot go to a gym anymore. The yoga class was already at 7 p.m. and I'm doing the training at home, and I can choose what I want to train. So I'm super flexible with that. And also yesterday when I arrived here at the hotel, I could do a workout, so it's like not bound to any time restrictions or space restrictions. And at Gymondo you get the fitness class, group fitness experience with a real trainer to your laptop and mobile device. So it's like the next level of flexibility, yeah, in that sense.
Very, very cool. Obviously, taking away the barriers of location is something very, very important. So, Lauren, you are tackling that stuff with FlyFit as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So as a longtime athlete and somebody who was traveling globally working with startups, I was finding that especially with the advent of Airbnb and a lot of the hotels not even having hotels or like having like actual fitness facilities, or the facilities not having that much interesting or compelling stuff to do, that people really wanted to use their downtime at the airport to actually get their workouts in, to be able to sort of take, whether it was like yoga and meditation or whether it was like really getting in a hardcore cardio class, like take it with them into their journey. So a lot of what, you know, I've spent the last several years thinking about is that intersect of like travel and wellness and fitness, and how do we let people that are on the road in this very millennial wanderlust driven generation who doesn't see a separation between travel and their regular sort of like day-to-day routines, like how do we find more synergy and more experiences where people can take those routines with them, and especially giving them to them in like unique spaces like an airport, and maybe at some point in the future like on the airplane and in other travel journeys.
On the airplane would be pretty cool. Can we actually do the stuff that you guys are doing, Kai, on an airplane?
It's definitely possible. So what we guys do is we created a sport apparel and integrated technology. We integrated an EMS system. It's really popular here in Germany. So EMS stands for electromuscle stimulation. And we started as a gym chain in that field, but now with Antelope we created a sport apparel which you can use wherever you are, whenever you want. And yeah, you can definitely use it also like in a plane.
Pretty cool. Lauren, you touched on it earlier. How much has your own experience as a customer, as an athlete, actually influenced the entire idea behind FlyFit?
I'd say that it started as a personal problem. As a customer, I was training for triathlons, and when we first broke ground on construction at Heathrow, I actually went to Heathrow, then I flew to Italy to do a half Ironman, I flew back, and so I was personally feeling the pain of that journey, and constantly on flights thinking about all of the different things that happen as an athlete when you're dehydrated and you're not sleeping well, and you've just got this, like, you don't have the freedom and flexibility to do your routines that you would do if you're in the same place. And I think that we're seeing more and more people want the freedom and the flexibility to travel, whether it's by choice or whether it's because of their job.
Okay, pretty cool. Benjamin, same question to you, more or less. It doesn't matter if you're a triathlete or just a casual runner, but what was the real idea behind creating Urban Sports Club?
Well, it basically was really born also from like our own sports needs, and that makes it easier as, when you work on a product that you also really love and that you also would like to use, because that kind of that's why we like came up with the idea, because we saw it, we saw that we had a membership at the gym. We were not going there. We were going to different places depending on the mood, depending on the weather. It was also the time when I saw that more and more people were willing to pay for their mobile phone subscriptions more when they have the possibility of like canceling any time. And I just felt that like flexibility is growing and it's coming up more and more. That was in 2011 when we like got the feeling that there needs to be something like that changes, and we can't be the only ones interested in a product like that. So it was really born out of the needs that we had. And that really helps when creating a product, of course, to understand what your customer wants. In the meanwhile, that has a bit changed. So we're now not just looking at our gut feeling and what we like. We, of course, have now lots of members and can use their data to understand what they really want and build a product around their needs.
Very interesting, and especially with, I would say, the digital evolution. Where would you say the idea behind Gymondo actually stepped in and you said, okay, we want to just eradicate brick and mortar altogether. We just want to have it digital at home for the stay-at-home mom, for the guy who gets home at 11 at night, whatever.
I think it's pretty obvious that when you have a look at fitness, group fitness in the fitness studio, like a Bauch, Beine, Po or yoga class, that you can do it quite easily with a video platform at home, that you need a very good instructor that motivates you and teaches you how to do it, and that you can jump in and directly do it at home. And we wanted to get rid of these restrictions that you have to be there at 7 o'clock in the evening and have to travel to the fitness studio, and actually bring the fitness to your home. I think that's many things we're talking about today is like bringing fitness to the customer and not requiring the customer to go to the place where they can do fitness. So fitness needs to be really integratable in the life of everyone that we have today, and that was the vision behind Gymondo, yeah, that you can really do that. And we see that in our workout statistics. People start their workouts at 7 o'clock in the morning, there's a peak time at 6 to 8 o'clock in the evening, but they're training throughout the entire day. So it's really super flexible, and that's what we brought, a known product from the fitness studio. Everybody knew the Bauch, Beine, Po classes, and now they could train it at home, and that was the thing we delivered, yeah. Kai,
also the question, your direction. With EMS being such a short-term workout but highly effective, how has your experience been, especially when you give your new approach to the customer and tell them, hey, you can actually do it wherever and whenever you want to do it?
So when I started with EMS training in 2009, I loved the technology, but the technology was only available in a studio. So you did a 20-minute workout, but the way to the studio and back, it was most of the time more time. You're wasting more time for that than for the workout. And that is why we created Antelope at the end, that you can do that kind of training wherever you are, whenever you want. and do the most effective and time-efficient training which is in the market, which I think is EMS technology. So from the user perspective, it's perfect, because if I'm traveling a lot, I can use it in my hotel room in the evening. I can go running and stimulate my core while I go running. So I can integrate it in any kind of sports.
Very, very interesting. What I think is also something that all the people here on stage have in common is that it's not just about working out. We had conversations before our panel. Okay, what's also motivation? What's the driver behind your business? And I'm going to start with you, Benjamin, because I know that also by offering classes like yoga, like meditation, like massages, stuff like that, it's much more than just a workout, right? It's more or less about the overall well-being and being just a healthy human being as well, right?
That's definitely a big topic, and I think it's a trend in our society. I mean, it starts that it became trendy to wear sneakers at the office, to drive an SUV, although you're not really sporty and you never drive off-road, but like showing that you were a sporty person, even if you're maybe not doing sports, that's kind of a starting point where we can see that sports is becoming more and more important and to be just a part of your daily life. And we also believe that's actually, looking at Urban Sports Club, that the community part that we are looking at is really a driving factor for our product, so that you feel that you're connected to other people who also want to live a more active lifestyle. That's why we believe it's really worth to invest also in the brand, so that it becomes kind of a status symbol to be part of this community and to show that you are really interested in your health and that you're really working on it.
Super cool, especially when I think about the community part. In your direction, Simon, is you actually told me that although you didn't really create a community about Gymondo, the communities were more or less formed by themselves. The members wanted to interact with each other and actually formed groups. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that is a very nice thing when you see that people or your users are forming the communities by themselves. So we have a Facebook group where people can interact with each other and motivate each other, and there we saw that they started to form their own WhatsApp groups, meaning I'm also in Düsseldorf, can't we form a Gymondo WhatsApp group in Düsseldorf and get to know each other and maybe train together even. And that's, I think, the ultimate goal that you can reach, that the product is so motivating and people love it and they love to get to know each other or get in contact to each other and do that by themselves and not initiated by the company. So this is super nice to see that.
So Lauren, are we going to have a community of FlyFitters all around the world pretty soon as well?
That's a great question. Since I wrote a book on community management, you'd think so. I think that one of the things that we see about like the travel experience, and one of the things that's actually had me looking outside of just the FlyFit sort of experiences, is that people are becoming very performance-minded. The whole trend with quantified self and tracking our own data, not just through our phones and our Apple Watches, but in a number of different ways, is really creating a lot of opportunities, I think, for fitness and wellness tech solutions to not only provide data, but also opportunities for us to interact and communicate with each other and like about our own sort of individual journeys. And I think the community aspect is actually really super valuable. And, you know, as somebody who started their career kind of coming out of journalism into brand marketing as a community manager in the early 2000s at Crunch, it's really exciting to see that trend of community and like support is really thriving and it's really just there. And yeah, I think we see a lot more coming with community in a lot of different areas of fitness and wellness.
And Kai, is it also something that's important for Antelope, or is it more, okay, the individual wants to get the benefit through the product, or is it also building a community around the product? Can we work out together? Because when I think about the traditional EMS systems in the studios, it's a big studio, there are maybe 2 people in there, 2 trainers, and that's it. So is there a new approach with your product?
There's definitely a community approach. That is why we called the company Antelope.club. So in the beginning, when we started the company 4 years ago, we had that approach, and now we finished the product, we brought the product to market, and next step is to build a community, because EMS is a great technology, and right now it's only used with trainers in gyms, which makes a lot of sense, because to handle such a complex product like a full body suit, it's not so easy. So we're seeing that the people who are buying the suit right now and using the suit, it's really like sporty people. Often they have know-how in EMS. They did it for a few years in a gym. But on the long run, I see that as a mass market product that everybody can use these kind of technology, and that could make sense in a trainer setup, in like a park environment, in a community, and also like with we both training together and challenging each other. So there are definitely community elements.
You just mentioned a second ago taking it to the mass market. So how important is the question of price also when it comes to the entire industry? Because obviously we just spoke for a few minutes about it. As of right now, there's a certain investment if you want to join the club, let's put it that way.
So if you look at the EMS market in Germany, which is the most advanced market in the world, so most people don't know that there is almost no EMS training in US, for example. So everything started in Germany, but it's a niche market. We have around like 200,000 people using EMS on a regular basis in Germany, and we have like 10 million people in conventional gyms. So and that has also something to do with pricing, because you can go to McFit for like 20 bucks a month, and an EMS workout costs you around like 100 bucks a month. I wouldn't say 100 bucks is a lot of money for your health, but most people see that from a different perspective. And the same with like an EMS suit. Our suit is right now, the full body suit, 1,400 euros. So that is not a cheap product. So, and on the long run, we will bring that price down, and then we will bring it more into mass market. But it's the same like we heard that morning from Under Armour with connected fitness and the connected shoes with a chip in it. So they start like Tesla with a premium product, and then they bring the price down and bring it more into mass market.
Super cool. Simon, maybe you can also expand on that, because obviously just taking away all the barriers, you guys, all you need is a screen and then you get started, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And it's a question to pricing or to mass market. I mean,
so the question So the question is more or less, by taking away all these barriers, do you think that you can actually bring something like Gymondo in every household all around Germany or all around the world?
Exactly, that's the ultimate goal, that the product is so easy to use and so independent from any local restrictions, and every household or everyone on the planet can train everywhere. That's the mission. We're still only in the German market, but are about to internationalize. But then that's the perfect product, because you can distribute it over the app stores, you can consume it in the internet, you can consume it anywhere where there's an internet connection. And even customers, that's the currently most requested feature is an offline mode, that you can download the workout video and train it even somewhere where you don't have an internet connection. So that's taking it even one step further, but fully right, that's the ultimate goal, yeah.
Benjamin, for you, the question, and I will model it a little bit, because obviously you guys are all over Germany. You're super versatile when it comes to that. And the subscription model also allows you to more or less just work out every day, just in different locations. And you can get such a vast variety out of your subscription. So maybe you can expand on that a little bit.
Well, we believe why we like aggregated such a huge varieties, that like people want to like choose differently and like decide very spontaneously what they want to do. And I think we clearly see a trend that people are not going to the same gym every morning at 7 a.m. There's certainly people still doing that, but let's face it, if you have created a Facebook event, you will have 1,000 people signing up for it, but you never know how many will really come. And this is like similar for sports. It's a mindset that people want to decide spontaneously whether they will do water skiing or like try a new boot camp. And we believe we need to offer something there that entails this great variety. And on the other hand, we also approach companies, and we approach those companies telling them that with us they have the chance to have really a one-stop solution for their employees, because the like having a contract with the Urban Sports Club allows the employees, of course, to choose from this large offer, so they can do sports near their home, near where they work, in between when they travel, and they can pick what kinds of sports they like. And that's the reason why we believe it's kind of the more the merrier. So to be honest, we're not that picky when choosing venues. We don't go for the really cheap like places attracting bodybuilders because it doesn't fit to our pricing model. We're targeting, we're not like a cheap fitness chain or something. So you need to pay usually 59 euros a month to get this flexibility. So that's why like those really cheap studios wouldn't fit. But everyone who's like looking after quality is welcomed in the network. And we assure, as being a marketing and sales machine for the studios, we can really help them to utilize their capacities in a better way.
The more the merrier. You just mentioned it earlier. So will there also be more FlyFits all around the world, or institutions, or can you actually expand on that?
Of course you're asking that at this moment. So I'd say that there's a lot of opportunities at the intersection of travel and wellness, and I've actually I'm spending more time looking at what some of the other ways of sort of approaching how do we bring health into the travel journey, and how do we help people that are in such a stressed out state. Normally, like, you run to the airport, even if you give yourself enough time, it's still stressful, there's still lines. Again, even if you have status, that you still have all these barriers to entry. And I think that one of the biggest things that we need to sort of change about the travel experience is how do we make it healthier? How do we make it less stressful? And I think there's just so many opportunities from a customer experience standpoint to fix that, not only like through the airlines and the airports themselves, but also in bringing new experiences in. And I think one of the big trends that we've been seeing is that so many customers want the experience that they have in their city. So like Joe and the Juice is like really popular. People want that green juice. Now like Stansted Airport has a Joe and the Juice like in the airport. Like having even if it's just one healthy nutrition option in the airport, like that is progress. And I definitely am seeing a lot of venues like airports that are trying to really think about how do we overhaul the experience to make it healthier and less stressful. And I think there's also a lot of new technology in the fit tech, the med tech space, and one that I'm working with is Aladdin Dreamer, and I'm advising them, and it's really cool because it improves your sleep, and it gives you not only better sleep data, but also, so it's not just tracking, but it also will help you improve your sleep. So if we can bring new technology into the travel journey to help people with the things that are like the common problems in the travel journey, I think that like the industry, the wellness industry and fit tech as a whole can make a huge impact at that intersect of travel and wellness.
Kai, maybe in your direction, how important would it then be, Lauren just mentioned Aladdin, how important is it to implement new technologies? So you have your EMS system, which actually is already quite new, but obviously all these products need to be developed because as soon as they get to market, they're actually already kind of old. So how important is it to actually build on that platform and then develop it to the next level?
So if you look at EMS, when the market started, the hardware device was the size of a desktop PC. It was like a vest. You have to wetten the electrode. So it was a great technology from the beginning, but it looked not really great, and it had a lot of like hassles. And now, if you see the next generation, it's only the size of a smartphone from the hardware perspective. There's an app. You have like a kind of like Under Armour looking like compression suit, and everything's integrated. So you can wash it in a machine. It's much easier to use. So there's a lot of things going into the right direction, but we are not at the end. So right now, for example, in EMS, it makes a lot of sense to do that kind of training together with a trainer because the training experience is so much better. But on the long run, we could bring our technology together with like the content of Gymondo or with an augmented reality device so that you see the trainer in front of your eyes, like and he shows you, but in virtual trainer. So there's a lot of like new technologies coming together, and that is a long-run game.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounded like a very casual partnership suggestion over there to Gymondo.
And we could place Gymondo screens in the airports, so it's like Perfect.
Yeah.
We have to talk how we can integrate the urban sports club.
We'll find a way.
Yeah, but Simon, to expand on the question, how important is it for you guys to actually constantly renew yourself, right? Because obviously you have certain programs which have a proven track record, which are pretty good. But how important is it actually to build on that and to develop these programs and actually add new workouts to the entire scene?
Yeah. I mean, there's two angles to that. The first is providing new content, new training videos in the same style that we have, and then there's doing new stuff like VR, augmented reality, or training with VR glasses. I think that the focus definitely needs to be on new content. I mean, in the end, it needs to be engaging workout videos that people really love to work out with. Trainers need to be great, and that's our core focus. I don't believe so much in crazy new technology and applying VR, augmented reality, whatever, because online fitness is still at a very early stage. I mean, here everybody knows what online fitness is about or has maybe trained with an app, but the vast majority out there is still going to fitness studios and thinks of fitness as a fitness studio. And that's the first thing. I think there's still a lot of growth coming in the online fitness sphere, and there needs to be new content and content that the people love, and we listen to our users on that. But I'm not so much about really bringing in the next level of technology and focusing on stuff that maybe 1% of the users will use and the others are not interested in it.
So what does it mean for Urban Sports Club?
Well, I think like what also brings us here together is that we all try to help people to live a more active lifestyle. So we need to motivate them to do more sports. And when we look into innovation, that's actually the key thing we are also looking at is like how can we motivate people to do more sports? Looking also at our like flexible model, you can quit whenever you want. So the model is built in a way that we need to look after our users and make sure they do sports. And that's why when we look into innovation for product and tech, we look at how can we motivate people to do more sports.
So when we're actually talking about, okay, doing sports at home, doing it in the car, wherever, however flexible the whole system will be, obviously under supervision. But are we taking away, to a certain extent, this real experience of working out? Does the customer need the experience of going somewhere, of slapping his body on the shoulder or on the butt or wherever? So is it actually very important to do it together? Or is it actually, okay, we just want to bring people to the point where they do work out because working out is our main goal and the community aspect is actually something which is nice on the side, but not at the core of our approach. First, I'd like to ask Kai when it comes to that question.
So at the end, I think for your health, it's really important that you do sports. It doesn't matter if you do it alone or in a community. For like mental perspective, I think it's definitely an advantage to do it in a community with your friends. But at the end, time is like the main problem. And if you can use technology or content to do more sports and do it like, if you only have like 10 minutes time, you do a short workout or you do like a few exercises, but I wouldn't call it a real workout if it's only like 10 minutes. But you can integrate it in your day, which makes a lot of sense. So if everybody in that room would do only like 10 minutes every day, that would be great. But most of the people, perhaps not in that room, but people out there, they are doing not everyday sports and not every week sports. So, but they should.
Simon?
For me, it's about like we had the user-centric approach. So some people like to do sports together or work out together. We saw that in our WhatsApp groups that they found each other. But a vast majority just wants to do it alone and integrate it into a busy lifestyle. So it's about flexibility. I would not say that there's something missing if you do it alone or together. Depends on you, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, as a community builder and athlete, like I think that getting people together is ideal. But life isn't always ideal, and doing something that's good for you is better than not doing anything. So I think that where we're going to see the industry continue to evolve is community is going to become very important, and we're going to have those premium experiences where people are really immersed, and fitness is still like entertainment. And I think that what we're seeing with a lot of the technology sort of solutions that you either can do with others or on your own is to supplement when you either can't or you don't have the ability to, and certain phases in your life. Like he's talking about having young kids at home, and I have nieces and nephews, and I can tell you that their moms do not get to do any of the stuff that they want to do, so getting to do something is better than nothing. So I think it's not about one or the other. I think it's about how do we try to understand behavior and behavior change and work with people's real life scenarios, which is, again, like a lot of what travel is. Like you can't necessarily change the dynamic. So how do we have both instructor-led as well as interactive opportunities for people that are on the run?
And I can already tell that Benjamin wants to share something about that as well.
Yeah, I definitely have an opinion on this one. Well, first of all, I just was talking about motivation, and we believe that a community can be really motivating, and doing sports together is a motivating factor for many people. And we also have the demand, we also have those WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups where people get connected and search for the right bouldering partner in Munich and the tennis player in Berlin. So we see a growing demand, and we know that many people get motivated by others who ask them, hey, let's do a yoga class together. And that's why I believe it's really important, and I think it's a growing importance. We just need to look at communities in a different way than maybe traditional clubs in Germany, like Vereine as they called here, looked at them like earlier. So we have all those lives that are changing. We start in a city, go to school there, we go for the university in a different city, then we go for the first job and for the second job in a different area maybe. So we have to have a flexible community that maybe doesn't need to be in the same city, but we still can connect via gamification maybe, or using platforms like Urban Sports Club where you can flexible find your friends and people you can connect to. And I think that's where the technology will help us and is already helping us to go to.
On that note, thank you so much, lady and gentlemen. We found out that we can work out wherever, it doesn't matter, Cologne, Bielefeld, Munich, whatever, at home, in front of the PC, at the airport, somewhere in Heathrow, or in the car, and I get a six-pack by just putting the stuff on, hopefully. Well, anyways, guys, thank you so much, and we'll move on from here. Thank you.